happy Monday. First
Yes,
Monday of December. Happy December. At least I'm praying it's going to be a happy December. I actually personally want this month to fly by because there is a Vegas trip waiting for me at the end of it that I've been looking forward to all year between
yeah.
Christmas and New Year's.
I know you are a lucky duck. I mean, not lucky, but because you planned it and worked
Right.
for it
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm there's something about like a Monday that starts on the first of the month that I just love. It just feels clean. Very okay,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
clean. It's let's get it and kind of needed it this month. Last month was a little crazy. So um
Hmm.
with that being said, we just came off of a long holiday weekend, which was much needed, I think, for both of us, everybody. Hopefully, y'all took some time to rest,
I
relax,
know.
and reflect.
Yeah. Full transparency, I did not this morning. I was like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to deal with life. I just wanted to, like I felt like I needed another week at least of just not having to do anything. And it was a busy weekend. Like we have a huge family, so we had plans most of the weekend, but I was just like I kind of just want to continue watching like Netflix shows. Like I caught up on Stranger Things. Like I just
Same.
wanted to like not do it. But I'm like, okay, it's the last month of the year. Girl got goals to hit. Like we got stuff we're planning, working on. Like just get up, suck it up, get your ass to work, right? And like you'll be fine. It's just, it's just one of those mornings. But for me, it's always the drive that I know that I have these goals, right? That I'm committed to hitting, and nobody's gonna do it for me. Like besides the fact that I'm somewhat newly divorced, like it's just me. And so if I want to hit the goals that I want, then I have to go and work for them, right? Like you can't wait for someone to give you the things that you want. Like you got to be willing to put in the work. And I know the work that I'm willing to put in. And so that's the piece I feel like where a lot of people drop the ball is that, you make goals, but do you have the right drive behind them? Because if you can't have that mindset, like, I gotta get up because I gotta get up, like, I didn't get up to go to the gym. I was like, I'll do that tomorrow. Right. And yet I got up to go to work because it's a goal that I'm committed to sticking with. And I know the reasons behind the goals. Right. Um, yeah.
Right. But that kind of leads into what we said we were going to talk about today is so we get caught up in comparing ourselves to other people and we don't see the work that's put in, right? Or the
Hmm.
goals or anything for that matter. We get caught in that comparison trap. And we think, oh, Josie, like I said in the beginning of the call, Josie's so lucky. She's going to Vegas at the end of the month, and that might be her highlight on her Facebook or her Instagram. And that's what we see, right? We don't see the late nights, early mornings, the struggle bus. Like she said this morning, I just wanted to stay in bed this morning and watch some more Netflix. Hey, same here. Like I literally
Hmm.
heard my husband get up, go to the gym this morning. Today's a run day for me. Act like I didn't hear him. Like, oh, I didn't hear him. And he didn't wake me up. But when he got back, I still knew in my head I needed to do what I committed to. So, yes, I got a later start. However, I still did it because I have a goal of hitting, being able to run basically, so I can do a 5K. Nobody's gonna do the run for me, and then I can get the medal saying I did it or the feeling you get with it. But that's where we get caught up. We look at the highlights of people, what they post on Facebook, Instagram, the money they make, the car they drive, whatever they attach to that success, that's what we see, and we instantly want to be like, "Ooh, they're so lucky," or "I'm not where I need to be."
Hmm.
Y'all, we didn't start the race at the same time.
Hmm.
So it's impossible for us to be at the same rate, area, place, goal. So we were talking about this, and it's like, just stay in your own lane. And it's okay to look at other people and say, they did this, this, and this, but don't look at their success. Look at what got them to their success, because that's really where the magic happens, right? Because
Right.
there's very few people that just hit the lottery and then they're rich and are happy and all that. It's the work you put in every day that is the magic and what you should be looking at what other people are doing. But unfortunately, we're
Hmm.
not posting that as much. Like some of us do. Some of us will post like the struggle bus and what we're doing every day, but most of the time it's just the end result. And there's not a whole lot of story there. So it's easy to get caught up in that.
And like there is a lot of story there, and yet it's really not what people want to hear. People don't want to hear that, it took, I don't know, 100 fails, right, to get to the one success. Or, that we're talking about like dials and contacts on our team call this morning. You don't want to hear that it's going to take you 400 dials to get to your 150 contact goal, right? So that you can hit your appointment goal. Like all of those things matter. And so even with that, keeping it real estate, right? So one of our team members, he was like, well, I feel like I think he said 1 out of 10. So like our team average, let's say, is 30% like contact call dial to contact ratio. And his was maybe 10%. And I said, okay. And I said, so the average that we're going to use as a team is 30, but for you, if yours is 1 out of 10, then you need to adjust your numbers, because what you're saying then is that if you do 100 calls, you're going to get 10 people to answer. And then how many of those 10 are you actually going to get into appointment, right? And I think it was 1 out of 10. So it's going to take you 100 dials to get to that one appointment, for example. And if you're not consistent with that, like every day in your business and knowing that information. So if you're focused on, let's say, if the team average was that 30 to 1 or something like that, then now you've just limited your chances by 2/3, right? If you're following. So it's important to know your strengths and your weaknesses, to Carissa's point, right? And not necessarily what everybody else is doing. Like there's so many different ways that you can apply the comparison trap, right? Like even talking about the gym, like, oh, this person is naturally fit, and so they don't need to try as hard. Or this person, is married, right, divorced, and has support at home, and so maybe they don't need to try as hard. For other people who look at me, they're like, well, she doesn't have kids, so her life is easier, right? And yet all the different pieces that people don't look at behind the scenes. Like, I don't have kids. I have 10 nieces and nephews. Okay. How often do you think my siblings be tapping into Auntie Josie to try to get some help for something? Okay. So like it's all the different pieces where it doesn't necessarily matter. You can look for the inspiration of what someone is doing and ask them for some tips and some advice. And yet don't feel like if you can't do exactly what they're doing, then you're failing, right? You shouldn't have to be like someone, but you can use some of what they're doing if it makes sense for your role, your lifestyle, and for your goals even. And I think that's a big part of what we were talking about before we hopped on, because we were having technical difficulties, of course, trying to get on Facebook Live. But it just is that, that it's easier to complain nonstop about what's going wrong, and what you perceive might be easier in someone else's life, rather than just stop, zip it, do that self-reflection, right, about what's going right in your life. Why are those things going right? And how do you get more of that positivity and rightness in your world? Right. Right.
But
Makes sense.
exactly. No, it does. And that's what I was in my motivation in a minute this morning for those who are in our community. I talked about that, like, what your purpose is shows up in everything you do in your life throughout the day. And it doesn't necessarily mean like it's showing up the same. You have to sit down and reflect and say, what's working in how I'm raising my kids, right? Instead of looking at what's not working, what's working? Like, and what about that is working, and dig deeper, and then what's working in my business. And when you pull back the layers and everything you're doing, so many similarities show up, and that's when you're like, boom, that's my purpose, and that's my path. And that's why maybe I'm not where Josie is right now, because I've been fighting it and trying to be like Josie when I'm on this earth to be like Carissa, right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
that's really what we wanted to, let you guys know. It's the end of the year. We have a brand new month and a brand new year approaching quickly. So get out of that comparison trap, because you were put here to be you, only you.
Hmm.
There's nobody
Hmm.
else out there who is even a little bit like you. Like, we're so all uniquely made. And it's crazy is that when you walk down the street and you see, everybody wearing the same clothes, the same this, the same that, and the second someone stands out a little bit, we want to be like, oh my God, what are they wearing? How are they? What, instead of just enjoying, like, hey, they're here to be them, not you. So that's
Mhm.
ultimately what I just wanted to talk about today.
Yeah. And I feel like this month is one of the hardest because it is that end of year reflection that a lot of people do or try to avoid, either one, right? But it's still a conversation, right? In most spaces, like how did the year go? How do you want 2026 to go? What goals are you preparing to set up for yourself in 2026, right? Is it stuff that you can start now and then looking around like at what other people did? And so that is part of why, for one, it does drain others if you're constantly that negative Nancy. If you're constantly like kicking yourself, even if it's about yourself and not about other people, nobody really wants to constantly be around that kind of negativity, right? And so it doesn't mean that you shouldn't find your confidant or a therapist or whatever to unload some of that too. But if you sit in it for too long, and if that's just your mindset all the time, then you do inadvertently end up pushing people away, right? And yet, if you can try to shift some of that energy and focus on some of the more positives. And if you didn't have a good year, then don't focus on it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry and I hear you. And the year's almost over. So that's something to look forward to, right? That's the silver lining. And how can you just make sure that next year is not a repeat of whatever this year was, like whatever it didn't go well for you, for example, right? So really trying to be very intentional with where you put your mental energies and your mental focus and take this last 31 days of the year and really pour back into yourself, like whatever that might need to look like. Maybe you need to kick yourself in the butt and get back on track to hitting your goals. Do that. Maybe you really have gone balls to the walls all year and you actually need to pump your brakes and breathe and just give yourself a little bit more of a rest this month. And then that's okay too, right? But it's just being honest with what it is that you need in this time and space, right? And then I always say, what you're willing to sacrifice to go after it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. 100%.
Yeah. So with that said, we're excited because we do have a lot of things happening this month. So two things, might as well throw in three things. So we've revamped for our Ops Insider members, right? We're excited because we've revamped our office hours to try to be more intentional ourselves, right? And help people show up more consistently to those. So on Mondays, we're calling Coaching and Clarity Mondays, which starts in just a couple of minutes. And really what we do, we're both coaches. And so it really is a space to just provide group coaching for the people who are in our community. And, a lot of times we get, well, I don't know what questions to ask. And I'm like, do you show up to your coaching meetings with questions, or do you show up and then you look for your coach to help guide you or to support you in whatever it is that you're struggling with? And I'm like, and that is really what our office hours were always intended. That's why we revamped it, right? Wednesdays, we've shifted it to power half hour masterminds. So kudos to Carissa for that cute little nickname and Chat GPT. Wait, what is your Chat GPT called?
Just chat. I just call them chat.
Oh, Chat. Yes, we called Chat little brother, and then eventually mine became Echo. But yeah, so then we're gonna start doing weekly masterminds, mini masterminds just for the our Ops Insider community. But two things that we're really looking forward to, it helps us go deeper with them. We love to teach and coach. So it helps us do more of what we love as well. And then just to be able to pour into that group even more. So if you want more information, then I'll drop the link in the comments on Facebook. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, the link for that is going to be in the YouTube description as well. And then the last piece is the fact that we did announce this AI agent lab that we're doing next week on Thursday, the 11th. So it's going to be teaching different ways, right, to help you save 10 plus hours a week by using some AI tools, right? So not going to be super high level where you're going to be like, I don't know how to do any of this, right? We're all about practical application. And so we invite you to join us in that conversation, right? Everything that we do, that we talk about, that we teach is always going to be about either supporting the mind for just like mental peace, supporting your skills, right, through different operations systems, leverage things of that nature. And so we're happy that you're on this journey with us, part of this conversation. If you're watching this live, replay, etc. And we just invite you to go deeper with us as we wrap up 2025 and look forward to kicking off a really strong 2026.
100%. And we are so excited for it because it is going to be simplistic. It's not going to be easy. It's simplistic. And the reason it's simplistic is because we want it to be utilized and we're here to hold your hand throughout it. So join us on Thursday, the 11th. And it's at 12 o'clock via Zoom.
Yeah.
The link will be on Facebook for you to register.
Yeah. And there's an event for that too. An
Yep.
event, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got to go kick it to our Coaching and Clarity Mondays, but thanks for joining us and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.